Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Cracking Cryptocurrency, the crypto market update, if you would. Today's December 18th, 2024. Hopefully everybody is doing absolutely fantastic. I don't see... Okay, good. I was just checking. I wasn't sure if my microphone was actually working, so life's good. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic today. We've got a great show for you today. Just let me catch my breath. I kind of ran to the stream desk here just a moment ago. All right, guys. December 18th, 2024. We have a rate cut incoming today, December 18th, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. on the Eastern Seaboard. Jerome Powell is going to waddle in front of the entire world, and he's going to say, we're cutting rates. It is very normal to see Bitcoin in particular, and of course, we're not seeing altcoins kind of fly in the face of Bitcoin consolidation. So still some skepticism in the altcoin markets. We are seeing a bit of a rejection on the others market capitalization as price pulls back a little bit. Again, overall, I'm extremely enthusiastic and optimistic for 2025. That's all right if we don't get that immediate continuation that we had kind of hoped, dreamed, wanted for, loved, lusted for after all that, right? I still think we're seeing broad buying opportunities across the market. And again, the most important thing as we move into the next few weeks, whatever the market is going to give us, is to, as I've said, identify those strong, high-performing coins, those altcoins that have performed exceedingly well. When you are looking to adjust your portfolio or do capital rotation, you want to look at the strongest assets as the least risk assets. All right. So even though it might fly in the face of what you've been taught to believe, what I've been seeing continually more and more, the more that I've traded, the more that I've studied at cryptocurrency, the more market cycles that I've been through, it is typically the assets that are performing very strongly are the ones that you want weighted heavily in your portfolio. So for example, when we're looking to capitally rotate, what are things that would be, and these are not obvious portfolio recommendations. You guys can obviously join the Crypto Trading Academy and see my portfolio, but if you're looking for safer assets that would be a good weight in your portfolio, you want to be looking at things like Ethereum, obviously. You want to be looking at things like Bitcoin, obviously, but those are like, duh, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But again, what are the other altcoins that are performing very strongly? Things like Sui, things like Pepe, things like Aave, things like XRP, things like HBAR, things like, yeah, those are some pretty good examples. So you can kind of just go down the list of what has the most hype, what has performed very well. Those are likely going to continue to receive performance. What is hot tends to float higher. All right. So we are not seeing that immediate continuation on altcoins right now. I think we have an interesting critical juncture point right here where most of our assets, most of our altcoins, that is to speak, have pulled back into the daily buy zone. Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the majors, with a few exceptions there, have also pulled back into the 4-hour buy zone because they've been kind of bullish over the last few days. Last week, last day in particular, pulling back a little bit. And so we're going to see, it's pretty common to see assets, Bitcoin in particular, de-risk into a Fed announcement. This happens over and over again. Every time there is an interest rate announcement, Bitcoin typically de-risks about 48 hours prior to the interest rate announcement. And then there's about 24 hours of non-directional volatility, which is exactly what I warned about this morning in my morning report. There's about 24 hours of non-directional volatility, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Since we have pulled back into our buy zones on our 4-hour time frames across most of our majors, these are just principled buying areas. All right, this is what we do, and the trend hasn't bent yet to the downside. We are seeing a bit of a topping pattern on the 4-hour time frame, but again, we've seen this topping pattern before, and it was just a pullback to the 4-hour buy zone, which is exactly where we're at, and then it was continuation of the trend. In only one prior situation did that actually lead to a more pronounced pullback down closer to the vicinity of the 200 SMA, and that was actually just occurred earlier last week when we had the dippity dip dip, or on December 5th, I do believe that day was when we had the dippity dip dip dip. Well, December 5th was like the big pullback, and then on December 10th, on or around, we kind of had the second dive down, all right, after that initial clapback. And now we are pushing up to new highs, so life's good. We've got a lot to talk about today. Bitcoin obviously reaching a new all-time high, pulling back just a little bit now of approximately 108,000. Before we begin, some general housekeeping. We do the show every weekday from approximately 10 a.m. to noon. We are doing an 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. show today, and I know, I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to get on it, right? Got a lot to do with the dogs. It happens. if you want to support what we're doing, our mission here is to give you guys the right tools, strategies, information, and knowledge that you need to be more effective, dangerous, and deadly in the cryptocurrency markets. We've been doing this we've actually been doing this for 7 years. I just got the announcement that our YouTube channel is 7 years old just a couple days ago. So congratulations to Kraken Cryptocurrency, and congratulations to you who have been with us on that journey. But if you want to support what we are doing here, the best thing you can do, it doesn't cost you a dime. Please like and subscribe. It really helps boost us up in the algorithms, brings more people in, increases the popularity of the show, and it helps out more than you could possibly imagine. We are live streaming on YouTube, Rumble, and X, so you can watch us on any of those fine platforms, and links to all that are, of course, in the description. Please go join our BYDFi trading competition. It is our Christmas season trading competition. That was the wrong. That was a blast from the past. All right. That was the ByBit promo. But please go join our Christmas season trading competition. It is currently going over right now on BYDFi. Absolutely free to register and participate. There is a $2,300 prize pool. We add $100 to the prize pool every time there is $1 million in trading volume, which is not too difficult to do. Top 5 traders will share 80% of that price pool, and the remaining 20% will be distributed to traders who trade simply over $100 in USDT volume. So very easy to get in, very easy to participate. There's also some great additional prizes for those top 5 traders, like VIP level 5, VIP level 4, VIP level 3 fee reduction. If you're not on BYDFi, you can register for free with the link down in the description. That is the second link in the description. That will give you an automatic VIP level 1 fee adjusted account, which means you get 17% off your trading fees, 600 pairs, 200x leverage, demo trading account, all of the good stuff. So thank you to BYDFi for that. And finally, last bit of thing, if you like what you see, if you like the indicators, the strategies, the way that we trade, our philosophy, our methodology of trading, you can join our Crypto Trading Academy, trade personally with me, receive my Unlocked Alpha report every morning and evening, and join in our weekly mentoring sessions on Wednesday, and much, much more. Access to all our coursework. That's the first link in the description. All right, all that out of the way. Let's get cracking, ladies and gentlemen. Sound off in the chat. I see you guys in here. It's a good day. Well, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. Wednesday is like always our lower, turnout day. It's totally fine. It's Wednesday, and then Friday people come in and want to take profit. So shout outs to Alex. Yes, to Crypto Freight Trades. Chase, JP. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Alex says, bet on no cut on Polymarket is a 3% chance. I'm betting on Powell trying to rug the new administration. So that's the thing. Obviously, the rate cut's priced in, right? Polymarket's never wrong. We're going to get a rate cut. The only thing that is going to be maybe interesting today, and like I said, we're starting the stream at 11, and the announcement's going to come out at 1, so we're probably going to run a little bit longer today and actually listen to Powell. The only thing that might be a little bit more deterministic is going to be, Jerome Powell's, posture, the words that he chooses to use, all of these kind of things. Market tends to respond quite powerfully to them. But we are 2 hours away from that, so we've got a long show, long way to go. Let's get the music popping. Let me know if it's too loud, as always, ladies and gentlemen. And let's just get right in and try to make some money today. All right, before we take any trades, let's just do our quick market overview. Starting with Bitcoin, we've got a bearish 10-minute, we've got a bearish 5-minute, 10-minute, and 30-minute trend. Of course, a bullish 4-hour trend on the 4-hour time frame in the lower left-hand corner of the chart. We will see that volatility is about mid-range right there on the BBWP caretaker bands. So nothing, it's at 42.86%, nothing crazy there to talk about. We're not at extreme lows, not at extreme highs. We are in the 4-hour buy zone. That is going to be our slow EMA guppy bands right there. Moving over to the daily. Okay, well, let's stay on the 4-hour there for a little bit. Let's talk about worst case scenarios. As we can see this topping pattern right here, right? So this is kind of this arched, right? This arched price pattern with wicks to the upside. This is a pretty common topping pattern that we'll see in assets. However, I don't want you guys to get too scared, because let's pop up the 4-hour time frame, and we can see this pattern play out multiple times in Bitcoin. So we saw it kind of for the first time play out here. All right, and what happened? We pulled back, maintained that fast EMA guppy speed, and pushed right on up to the upside. Here is another example of that 4-hour topping pattern. Price did pull back to the 4-hour buy zone. We consolidated. We actually deviated. All right, so we kind of did a 3 drives pattern here. 1, 2, 3, found support at the 4-hour 200 SMA, and then it was off to the races. This was, of course, that leading right into the November 5th election decision that kind of catapulted price up. Here we have that same topping pattern again. All right. And here you can kind of say we did a 3 zeros pattern, 1, 2, 3. All right. And then kind of the interesting thing to note here is if we kind of get zoomed in, you'll also see here one of my favorite patterns, which is the Adam and Eve pattern, where we have a kind of sharp V-shaped and then a slower rounded bottom. That is a great bottoming pattern. As you can see, Bitcoin's price was able to go from approximately 90,000 at that point in time all the way up to where we're currently at, about 108,000. We see that same topping pattern here. All right, very short term. We pull back to the 4-hour buy zone and then continue right on up to the races. So it's very hard to determine. Certainly, we could say that just based on those last few recent examples, here's another topping pattern of the 4-hour. Again, we pull back, explosive price action immediately. So again, it's not a great thing to see for the bulls. And by the bulls, I mean kind of the short-term, highly leveraged traders who have kind of entered, anywhere above, let's say, 100,000, right? So anybody who's not currently still holding swing positions from down here, down here, down here, that's not a great thing to see, because if you're kind of at break even right now, or maybe even slightly underwater, the last thing you want to get on the show and hear is be like, well, Bitcoin could pull back down to 95, 96,000 again. All right, could totally happen, right? But again, we have basically a 50-50 probability of that happening based on the fact that we go back and look at these historical patterns, and half of the time they pump, half the time they dump. So just something that I want you guys to be aware of. Let's go to that object tree and get rid of all this nonsense. All right. So something that I want you to be aware of. Now, what we can do as well is we can also look at volume. Volume is very helpful in determining accumulation and distribution. So, and we'll look at this. So I want to kind of just jump real quickly to XRP, and I'm actually seeing something that's a little concerning on XRP. Now, I signaled a $2.06 entry in XRP, and we're still holding that trade. So we're up bigly. There's no reason to really get scared and run for the hills or anything like that on our XRP positions. And I believe 254, 277. Did we hit 277? Yeah, so we already hit 254 on the XRP swing long position that I signaled for the Trading Academy. So stops should be, and I recommended moving those stops up to 220 anyway. So we're really Gucci on XRP. No need to worry about. When you got a position that's in good profit, you can let it breathe. All right. I think I'm very bullish on XRP, so I'm just going to let it breathe. So, but I want to point something out here, and this is a great. This is something very, very helpful that you guys can use when trying to analyze tops and bottoms. All right. Like I said, you don't want to be the trader. The problem, it's a psychological problem. So hold on, I'm actually going to make a note of this, because I'm probably going to turn this into a short or a short clip. So just give me a second. Here we go. Can I I'm just going to drop this in my private channel in 15 minutes. Okay. All right. So kind of the intro here. So before we begin, I'm going to show you guys how you can use volume along with price action analysis to help you better determine whether something is accumulating at a low price or distributing at a high price. And this can really help you have a secondary level of analysis to better filter your trading signals, to better filter the trades that you take. This will improve your profitability. This will reduce your drawdown and overall make you a better trader, a more profitable trader. Before I go into that though, I want to caution you on the risks of being overly analytical when we're in a roaring bull market, as cryptocurrency is infamous for. But this lesson will also apply to other markets or other assets that also enter into a very hype-driven, sentiment-driven, bullish trend. The problem with really looking for reasons to be bearish or looking for tops when price is very, very, very bullish is that it's a psychological trick upon yourself, where you then subconsciously start to shift more and more and more bearish, when it is often towards the end of very parabolic or bullish price movements that the highest ROI can be achieved from late entries even. So it's very dangerous. And you've seen this. I see this all the time. I've seen it in myself in previous cycles where we start getting really high and I've started to get bearish. And constantly, like every time we like, oh, there was a wick to the upside, and like prices pull back a little bit. Oh my God, this is it. And you'll hear this a lot. If you're on crypto Twitter, Crypto X, you're gonna see this every time Bitcoin pulls back a little bit. You're gonna see all these wannabe traders, and you know they are probably traders, just maybe not that good, varying degrees on the spectrum certainly. But they'll be like, hey, hope you guys cashed up and, you know, allocated in USDT. Here we go. And then they're absolutely silent like 2 weeks later when Bitcoin rockets back up. They're completely silent because the vast majority of most individuals' profits in a roaring bull market are going to come from holding low leverage swing positions for long periods of time throughout vast majorities of the cycle or through key legs of the cycle. So 80% of your profits will come from 20% of your trades, your best trades, the ones that you choose to hold generally. The 80-20 rule, and this is certainly true for me. 20% of my profits come from my intraday trading, but that keeps me active and in the market, and then 80% of my profits come from my long swing positions, and particularly my runners. And of those long swing positions, again, 80% of my overall profits come from 20% of those approximately, and those are the ones that I allow to run. Even after we've surpassed my posted profit targets, I just continue to hold them because I don't see weakness. So it is very dangerous to condition yourself subconsciously to be looking for tops, because that will cause you to be more cautious. That will cause you to allocate less risk when it's the time to strike when the iron's hot. Because the market is going to go parabolic for only a limited period of time. That could be 3 months, 6 months, another year, whatever. But you want to be fully invested throughout that whole period, and you want to be kind of immune to pullbacks. You want to have diamond hands, and it's not when you see tops per se that you want to be like, all right, let's sell, because you can't ever tell like, oh, like that's the top, you sold there, great, price pulls back and then goes up another 2x. You don't want to be that guy. You want to just in general wait and be okay with not selling the top. You want to wait until you see prices pulling back under major moving averages, making lower highs, right? Sentiment shifting, and then getting out, right? So trend following trading will allow you to make more money than trying to call tops and bottoms, but you're going to have to be okay with not buying the absolute bottom and not selling the absolute top. You're in the middle. You're going to get the middle of the movement, which is more than enough. Okay. It's more than enough. All right. So having said that, don't be too bearish in a bull market. And now let's go into how you can actually use practically volume to analyze tops and bottoms. Okay. So I'm going to be using XRP here as an example, and basically the idea that we're looking at here, and this is an old idea. All right, I got this. The reason I was inspired to talk about this is because I just saw on X an old video of Paul Davis talking about this. This is an ancient concept. All right. But essentially, when you're looking at whether something is in accumulation or distribution, in this example, we're going to be using XRP as a potential example of distribution. So we're going to be using the 4-hour time frame. You're going to get, this is kind of hard to see generally on the daily time frame. All right, for cryptocurrency, other assets might be different, but on cryptocurrency, I find the 4-hour or even the 1 hour can really kind of help you see these patterns. So we're going to use the 4-hour here. And again, I'm not saying that XRP is topped out. I'm simply showing you guys an example of how you can have a secondary level of analysis to give you a little bit more insight into the bigger picture, right? What the big sellers, what the money is really doing, how the money is changing hands behind the scenes. So simple, it's a very simple rule. When we're looking at something that's price is up very high and it's moving sideways, this could be distribution, this could be reaccumulation. It's the Wyckoff theory of the markets. There are 4 phases of the market. There's markup, where prices go up. Well, there's accumulation, where buyers buy. This is also Dow theory. Markup, where prices go up. Distribution, where, you know, those who accumulated are now distributing to new buyers. And then there's markdown, where prices move down. All right, so those are the 4 Wyckoff phases of the market. However, there's also reaccumulation and redistribution. So let's say that price has reached its low, it goes sideways, accumulation, it starts moving up, and then it goes sideways again. And then it keeps moving up. Well, that wasn't distribution. I mean, it was, some were distributing, but there was more accumulation going on there as kind of the second layer of traders entered in and bought more than enough to be able to push the price up or push the hype up. So you always want to be aware of reaccumulation and distribution or redistribution. So this could be distribution, i.e. this is going to signal a local top for XRP and we start to see a pullback. Or this could be reaccumulation, where, you know, we've dipped a little bit, we're overall going sideways, volatility collapses, and then we do break again up to the upside. Now, I would personally bet on that second possibility, that this is likely reaccumulation. So with that being said, the pattern that we want to see that can kind of help us identify the difference between reaccumulation and distribution is when prices in this range are moving down, we should be seeing rising volume if this is distribution. And when prices move up, we should see falling volume. All right. And that's a very simple concept. If you just think about it for a second, it means that, hey, there's actually less buying interest, even though price is moving up, there is less buying interest, signaling that, hey, this is not really, this is a fadeable move. This is not a genuine move. This is not going to continue. Whereas if you're seeing volume increase as price is moving down, it's showing you that the sellers are really in control and they're the ones who are offloading lots of coins versus lots of coins being aggressively market bought. So if we look at XRP on the 4-hour time frame, unfortunately, we can see here prices moving down, volume rising, prices rising, volume falling. All right. Prices moving down, volume rising, prices moving up, volume does rise a little bit, but overall just continues to drop off here. All right. Here we don't see very much volume at all. Here again, prices rise, but volume falls. Here we see prices rise and volume falls. And here we're seeing prices fall and volume rise. All right. So again, just something to be aware of. I did notice this pattern when I was analyzing XRP earlier. So I would actually be kind of cautious on new entries into XRP. Now, again, I am pretty fortunate, and as is our community, because we are in at XRP, re-entried at 206. So we did buy the dip. And so we have a lot of room to kind of be overall immune to these kind of price swings, right? And like I said, we've already hit our first TP, so there's nothing that could possibly happen that would make us lose money on this trade. I'm still very optimistic on most altcoins. And so patience is kind of the key strength of a trader. All right, with that being said, let's get back into the markets and analyze what's going on. We talked about the topping pattern on BTC, but we also talked about kind of the unreliability of that. Reset chart view. So overall, like I said, bearish 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute trend, bullish 4-hour trend, bullish daily trend, bullish weekly trend. You guys know my philosophy. When we have a bearish 5, 10, and 30, and the 4-hour is bullish, it's usually a buying opportunity. We see the price is consolidating right at the 30-minute 200 SMA, which has been very good support throughout this short-term uptrend. So we're either going to see kind of this act as a buying opportunity and BTC continue to push up, and I respect that that is likely to happen. Especially once we get the rate cut decision. However, let's talk about the worst case scenario. Let's talk about this kind of shifting into a slightly more meso-bearish trend. We do have, if we kind of see, we have our current point of control. I actually need to zoom this out a little bit. Let's reset chart view. We have the daily point of control at 97,426. All right. And we have the 4-hour point of control at 99,765. We also have that 4-hour 200 SMA creeping up on price, currently sitting at 97,633. I think that's likely the worst case scenario if we're going to have a pullback here and that we are going to kind of shift trend. That means that price is not going to do that immediate punctuated movement up to 120,000. But I still have my sights set on 120,000 over the next 2 to 4 weeks, over the next 3 weeks now, because it's still 2 to 4 weeks because I made this call late last week, early this week. So this is totally fine. I'm not worried at all. I'm not bearish. Even, price can pull back to 97,000. Who cares? Still maintaining the 4-hour 200 SMA. Still, of course, cleanly maintaining the daily buy zone. And that would just be a dip right back into the daily buy zone. So with that being said, if you have leverage positions, or if you have swing positions, or if you have Bitcoin positions open up right now that cannot survive a pullback to 97,000, 96,000, then you need to kind of reevaluate your risk at this point in time. So I would kind of act on that. On the other hand, again, we've pulled back to the 4-hour buy zone. We've pulled back to the 30-minute 200 SMA. We've got that rate cut decision coming up. It's generally, this is usually what Bitcoin does. It usually de-risks moving into the FOMC decision. So it's just what level of risk do you want to take? I'm pretty optimistic and bullish. I've got my sights set on 120,000. So I've got my positions opened up really no matter what price does. And to be quite honest with you guys, I'm very, very heavy in BTC right now. I'm very heavy in BTC. Anytime I think that BTC is going to make I still have like 10 or 15 altcoin positions open up, to be quite honest with you guys, as well as my holds in my ledger. But as far as my trading capital right now, I would say that I am approximately about 80% weighted into BTC right now, because anytime I think that BTC is going to make a very large move, I mainly just want to be holding BTC. All right. I think that we're going to have buying opportunities on altcoins as Bitcoin kind of makes this move up to 120,000. Altcoins will likely continue to dip a little bit lower. Most of them are at pretty key dip zones right now. We'll cover those here in a little bit. But overall, that is how I'm feeling on BTC. And I hope that is helpful to you guys, and I hope that, guys, kind of gives you a view into what's going on. Creative Design says my voice is too low. You listen, you're not wrong. You are absolutely right. I have noticed, honestly, for the last couple of months that my audio on YouTube has been below 21 LUFS, which is kind of the standard volume unit, and it's sitting around like 12. And the only way to fix that is to turn up the makeup gain on my microphone. You're absolutely right, because most of you who are saying that my voice is fine, I bet you have your volume turned up relatively high. So yes, but if you then go click into another YouTube video with some better audio quality, you'll notice that it's too loud. So you're both of you are right, and I appreciate that. Creative Designs, you are right. I have been noticing this for the last month. And it should be relatively simple for me to fix. All I have to do is literally open up my Go XLR app and turn up my makeup gain. But I'm a little hesitant to do that on stream because I can't currently monitor my audio. So because for whatever reason, OBS just stopped letting me monitor my output. So I appreciate that. I will try to fix that hopefully after the show. I've got a lot of things to do today after the show. I've got a lot of this week is, guys, you know, we're going into Christmas next week. I got a big family. It's things have been absolutely crazy for me. All right, so that's where we're at with BTC. In summary, if you guys want the executive summary right here, I think there is, of course, a possibility that we do dip down to 96 and 97,000. I think that's, I'm not too heavily betting on that at this point in time, but I don't want you guys to be too surprised. I think there is play here for entries right now for 4-hour long swings to the upside. Big picture, Bitcoin should be at or above 120,000 over the next 2 to 4 weeks, potentially by Christmas if we do get some great movements here, but certainly by the first week of January. So that's where we're at. All right. Just make sure that any positions you have could fit within that context. Moving to Ethereum. All right. All right, as far as Ethereum goes, we do have a bullish 5-minute trend, a neutral 10-minute trend, a bearish 30-minute trend, and a bullish 4-hour trend. Big key things to note here, all right? We are basically oscillating around VWAP on the lower time frames today. So Bitcoin, as we can see from the 10-minute and the 30-minute chart, Ethereum is, and we can also see it from the 4-hour, Ethereum is very tightly compressed volatility wise. And you guys know that low volatility precedes high volatility. We are at support. We have deviated below the 4-hour buy zone. Every time this has happened before, it's been a screaming buy every single time. All right. The only time that didn't work immediately was when we had the big dippity dip back on December 10th, from December 5th to December 10th approximately. Well, this is the, you know, Bitcoin like flash crashed on December 5th. We see Ethereum flash crashed as well, but then we had the dippity dip on December 10th, pushing us back down very close to the vicinity of the 4-hour 200 SMA. Now that 200 SMA is creeping up. It's around 3,600. I would like us to be pretty aggressively bearish on altcoins right now, especially Ethereum, because we haven't really been given reason not to. However, it does strike me, of course, that we have been seeing altcoins continue to pull back for approximately the last week, give or take, kind of across the board. We can see that we need look no further than the others. Market capitalization divided by the price performance of Bitcoin, which is a really great proxy to kind of time and identify when, how, and where you should be entering into altcoins. And, you know, I was hesitant to point this out because I really wanted to see more bullish enthusiasm, but of course we are trading in a descending channel. So again, this chart is very simple. This is just others, which is the market capitalization of the cryptocurrency market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then also like BNB and maybe XRP. But anyways, it serves as probably the easiest proxy for altcoin market capitalization. I actually had a script for altcoin market capitalization dominance, but for some reason it's not working anymore. Maybe I need to update the code to like V6, but whatever. Still haven't fixed that. I haven't had time to fix that. But again, we are trading in this descending channel. We pumped up all the way to the top of it and now are rejecting. So kind of the question is, well, you know, are we, you know, are altcoins going to go back into altcoin winter, kind of move all the way back down here to a ratio of about 1.46, or are we going to, you know, have a higher pullback and then break to the upside? We of course do have support right here around 3.59, which is basically where we're at right now. So very much I am just on a wait and see. I'm very optimistic about altcoins moving into 2025, but have to verify that it is wait and see. Overall, Bitcoin poised great. We just broken into kind of the euphoria phase of the market. We've got a long ways to go. Don't necessarily have to reach the top, which would be a price point of about 367,000. Being conservative, around 200 to 250,000. Probably cycle top in 2025. And I think that's just fine. I don't have it on the chart, but of course the other key metric that I'm watching from Glassnode is the AVIV 3 standard deviation. I think that is about 3.5. I'll actually, I just read it in Glassnode's latest report. So I actually do want to go, I think I might have already deleted it though. So let's go look at my trash. Glassnode. Okay. Here it is. Yeah, literally first thing. Read this week on chain. Okay. Yeah, so the latest report from Glassnode just came out this morning, resilience and synchronicity. And they talk about a lot of stuff. Big things to kind of talk about is the fact that this has been an extremely, one of the least volatile cycles. The max drawdown for this cycle has been negative 32% compared to previous cycles. The Genesis to 2011 bull run, the max drawdown was negative 49%. The 2011 to 2013 bull run was negative 71. The 2015 to 2017 bull run was negative 36. And the 2020 to 2021 max drawdown was negative 63. And so now we're sitting at negative 32. So this is actually the most bullish, the least volatile, the least brutal bull market that we've ever had. So really good there. We can see that short-term holder percent in profit. Yeah, we talked, they were talking about how also, in addition to that, usually when a super majority of short-term held coins, which is 1 to 6 months, are held at loss, usually that can lead to big losses, like big price swings. So we can basically see, look at the, I want you guys to be looking at this yellowish orange oscillating indicator here. And this is a ratio of whether short-term held coins are in profit or loss. Down here, they're in loss, up here, they're in profit. And so when they're below 1 standard deviation, you can see that historically that leads to just kind of this continued sell-off, right? As low liquidity and liquidation levels exacerbate downtrends. And we reach those stages, those even occur in uptrends. But we've reached those stages twice during this 2023-2024 bull market. Once right over here on or around, I would say August of August of 2024, or maybe a little bit later than that. And then of course, approximately August of 2020, August 2023, August of 2024. Or maybe this is like probably November of 2023, actually, kind of like corresponding to the FTX collapse. And then this, of course, is August of 2024 when we entered the summer doldrums. But we reached down there. Short-term holders did not continue to cascade and sell off. So overall, very good. But the main thing that I wanted to pull this up was the AVIV chart. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. So are they going to let me? Okay, so that's the AVIV as opposed to the MVRV. So are they going to actually let me, all sources, Glassnode, AVIV? No, they're not going to let me actually do AVIV, which is a slightly more better version of MVRV. But as we can see, current AVIV is at 1.81. And again, this, if you look at this chart, it's essentially MVRV, market value to realized value, right? It's basically the same chart. They just have a little bit better filters to kind of filter out non-significant Bitcoin holdings relative to the market. So it's just a little bit cleaner and actually looking at significant or significant circulating supply versus probably lost and gone circulating supply. So as we can see, we're quite a bit of ways away from 3 standard deviations on the AVIV, which has marked the previous tops of every market cycle. So the market still has quite a bit of ways to go. We're currently only sitting at a 1.81 AVIV ratio value. So quite a bit of ways away to go for the market to continue to grow. So I'm very, very, very bullish and optimistic that we are not at the top. But I would say I can kind of get a rough value. And so to do that, I think I'm just gonna probably put it at about, maybe like be conservative and say like 3.3. So that's kind of going to be our bull market top, one of our bull market top warning indicators. Yeah. So, and like I said, we're quite a bit of ways away from that. So life is all relatively good. Looking at stables dominance here, Bitcoin and stables dominance, we are seeing, again, continued strength from there, which is why altcoins have not continued to perform. Anytime this indicator goes down, which is where we're seeing stables and Bitcoin dominance move down, we see altcoins absolutely thrive. And so this period from November 5th to December 5th, about a month of altcoin season, showed incredible growth. And now what we are seeing, as I've kind of expected, is a dead cat bounce, right? We had this initial dead cat bounce, and now it's looking like we might even come back up into the trading range, which would mean a little bit more pain for altcoins. But again, let's see if we reject from the 200 SMA now that we have had a change of character, made lower lows in this. So again, looking for rejection anywhere from here to here, that's all fine. But then I would be looking for another significant leg down and for altcoin dominance to begin spiking again. So again, in the short term, we might see renewed pain for we might see continued pain for altcoins. But again, in the long run, I think we are going to get rewarded relatively handsomely. So all that looks pretty good. SOPR is spiking, which means there's a lot of profit taking going on right now on BTC. It doesn't necessarily mean profit taking. It just means a lot of transactions are occurring. The way that I look at SOPR, I know it's a little different, but anytime SOPR gets quite high, we often see a reversal in trend in the short term. So, and then, as I said, we were kind of already talked about others' market capitalization pulling down, which just confirms what we're seeing. Like, this is a direct correlation to this chart right here. All right, we kind of got sidetracked there. I apologize. Let's get back into the skibbity. And that is going to be our analysis of Ethereum. All right, so again, on the short term, Ethereum is consolidating right around its VWAP, and again, trading in a very tight range. Underneath the 30-minute 200 SMA and right at the 4-hour point of control. Worst case scenario right now is, of course, a dip on the 4-hour to approximately about 3,600. That would be a return to the buy zone on the daily time frame. So that is possible. That is possible. What I want to see right now from Ethereum is a clean break. Again, we're currently trading at about 38.64, so not too bad. I would like to see a break above 3,900 and kind of a reclaim of the 4-hour momentum bands right now. And then I think we could probably make another push. We do have, of course, resistance around that $3,900 to $4,000 level. So overall, pretty optimistic for Ethereum. I am always wary of an Ethereum God candle coming in kind of out of nowhere. But overall, I'm holding my long swing on Ethereum. Intraday, I think a range trading strategy would be quite good. So probably intraday, the best short-term strategy is probably going to be selling around the $3,900 mark and then looking to cover around the $3,800 mark and just simply playing this range that we've been consolidating in for a while. And then I think that is invalidated if we can get a nice, let's say 10-minute close above 3,900, then we could be looking to buy the first pullback and just going back into our aggressive bull market swing strategy, aggressive bull market dip buy strategy. Solana is showcasing a bearish 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, and 4-hour trend. We are in the daily buy zone with the 10 directional moving average the 10 daily moving average trending down. Daily support right now is all the way down at 166, where that daily 200 SMA is sitting at. We are trading underneath the 4-hour 200 SMA. We're trading under all major moving averages on almost all time frames. So the thing is, Solana, though, has done a 3 drives pattern and is consolidating sideways. So I would view this as reaccumulation 1, 2, 3. You guys know that's kind of the bottoming cycle that I look for. It's not Elliott waves, the 3 drives pattern. And we are, if you look at the weekly, we have now pulled back to the weekly 10 weekly moving average, which is pretty good. So pretty deep pullback that we've had in Solana. And I think that if we can continue to grind out this area, the market might respect the $200 low. The things to watch for on Solana is a daily breakout above 225 would be very important to see. On the 4-hour time frame, a breakout above 233. So just reclaims of those key levels, regaining that 4-hour momentum, regaining that 4-hour 200 SMA, regaining that daily 10 daily moving average. And overall, that's pretty good. So, I mean, I like Solana where it's at. Of course, Solana has been underperforming, so I'm skeptical to dip buy on it right here. I will wait until we regain that kind of a 4-hour momentum, and then I'll dip buy it there, especially watching others continue to pull back. So XRP, again, we already kind of covered this at length. I'm holding my XRP long swings because my entry on it is pretty immaculate. We do have a bearish 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute trend. We are in the 4-hour buy zone and at the point of control support at about $2.40. So this is probably a relatively good area. On the daily time frame, we've also pulled back to the 10 daily exponential moving average as well, which is a good entry point also. We are, of course, in the value area low for the day, and we are printing a possible Choden balls pattern right here, right? Okay, so just looking for a breakout of the hip bone, and we could see a measured move of approximately 2% to the upside on that breakout of 247 here, which would be pushing price up in the short term, back to VWAP, back up to that 5-minute 200 SMA around 252. So that would be the setup I'd actively be looking for on XRP here today. And I'm probably just going to go, whoa, I don't know what just happened. Yeah, sorry. I'm actually just probably going to go ahead and take that trade. That's probably going to be our day trade for today. So let's get into BYDFi and let's load up XRP. Good job, Andrew. I'm glad to hear that, man. All right. So let's think about this real quick. Back to the lab. All right. So let's pull open the 30-minute and yeah, so 251 and 241. Yeah, 251 and 241. That looks good. And then this is ordered by cost, right? Yeah. Whoops, that's pretty lofty price targets there. Not gonna lie. All right, so we're gonna go on an XRP. I think that's probably the best setup that I actually saw. And okay, so let's go over why we took this trade. So you guys can understand how my discretionary thinking works. Because we have a bullish 4-hour trend and our 5-minute, 10-minute, and 30-minute are bearish. All right. So that is a contrary style of trading. I'm seeing that we have an overall bullish trend, and I'm seeing that in the short term, we have a buying opportunity because price is low. Things that also strengthen this, we're in the value area low of the day, which just always, every single time, any day, anytime, any place. It doesn't always mean that that's going to be the low, but it just means that statistically, that's the best possible price that you can get in at on the low, is the value area low from VWAP, anywhere from 1 to 3 standard deviations below VWAP, which is volume weighted average price. That's why I have the VWAP indicator on my 5, 10, and 30-minute chart. We can see that on the 10-minute. We can see that on the 30-minute. We also see, prices pulled back for quite a bit. We did pull back to the 30-minute 200 period SMA, which is often a strong level of support in an uptrend when price pulls back. And overall, let's see here, 30-minute RSI got oversold. Volatility peaked out here on the 30-minute time frame as well. All kind of reversal signals that I like to see. We had some bull divs on the 5-minute time frame. We had a bull div on the 10-minute time frame. Overall, I like this. Yeah, price is pretty good. So we're just trading on a return to VWAP. I think we could even probably be a little, probably should be a little bit more enthusiastic and be looking for like 252. So let's actually make that adjustment. Orders. So, oh wait, hold on. That's the stop loss. Let's adjust our TP to 252. And then as far as our stop loss goes, I think we actually need to be setting our invalidation at 242 instead of 241. I know there's obviously going to be pulled liquidity there, but the difference between 242 and 241 is insignificant. If price comes down here, our setup is invalidated. And then price action analysis wise, kind of the setup that we saw was the good old inverted head and shoulders pattern, aka the Choden balls pattern, where we see, might be helpful if we just invert this, right? It always helps. People see price patterns when we invert things. So we see left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break of the neckline. But see, when I see a pattern like this, I usually do not wait for the break of the neckline because in my opinion, that's just a little too late. I just prefer to kind of identify this, right? And then I see the kind of the lower high, and then I usually right where I'm entering right now is usually where I'm always going to enter if I see in the moment a head and shoulders or an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Now I will say this very, very clear and cleanly. I prefer to see an Adam and Eve pattern over a head and shoulders or inverted head and shoulders pattern. Adam and Eves have much more follow through. So when I see an Adam and Eve, I usually get pretty bullish. Because it means an Adam and Eve means that so for those of you who don't know, this is what an Adam and Eve looks like. Price will be coming down and then you'll see like a big V-shaped drop. And then you'll see like a more rounded drop. That's usually a higher low. And the reason that's so bullish, and then you can trade the break the neckline. The reason that's so bullish to me is because it shows clear seller exhaustion. Like, sellers got really over enthusiastic and basically, sold everything they possibly could here. And then they pushed back down for accumulation to kind of fill their bags, to the long side, right? Offload all the rest of their shorts, sell all their coins, and reaccumulate simultaneously right here. It's more bullish because the market usually in an Adam and Eve pattern doesn't give you a second chance to buy the bottom, which is more strength that it was a bottom. And the reason, and then after it breaks, it doesn't go back down again to this level. If it does, you're potentially looking at maybe an inverted head and shoulders pattern if you're lucky. The problem with an inverted head and shoulders pattern is that while it's a good trade setup, right? Because obviously we're pushing XRP to the upside here, trying to make $700. You can see here that the market is kind of same thing. You think selling climax. Oh, no, there's more selling. And then here's that more rounded kind of shoulder, right? This is the accumulation of the longs. This is kind of the last ditch off selling of the shorts. Again, in the value area low is very, very good to see. But the problem is that, maybe it's just in my head, but it's like, oh, the market gave you a whole bunch of time to like buy this low versus, when the low happens very quick and fast, it's not that the trade won't play out. I think this trade will play out, but it's the fact that, how far it goes after that is questionable. So in my experience, Adam and Eve patterns move farther up or down, depending, versus inverted head and shoulders patterns. So I'm being pretty conservative just with the return to VWAP on this pop. Now, we will, of course, employ the ancient ninja techniques to guarantee a winning trade here. It's just going to take me a minute to find it. I always struggle to find this, and it's very annoying. I do see the rocket right now, so we're just gonna hold on to that. That's not the secret technique. I have no idea why TradingView has all this nonsense in here that has nothing to do with the markets. Like, who is ever using these emojis? It makes absolutely no sense. Objects. It's got to be in here. And you can't search. Thank you guys for joining for the most exhilarating section of the live stream that you could possibly imagine, as Justin searches for... God damn. It has to be here. There's no way. Where is it? Trading View, I swear to God. Who's using a baby bottle? Why are there dinosaurs on here? It makes no sense. No, there's a very specific emoji that if I find it will guarantee success. I just can't, I can't believe that, no. Ah, there we go. There it is. There it is. Sorry. Okay. Now, what? Can you just stop it? There we go. Okay. All right. We are going to be using the ancient secret of emoji trading. It's foolproof. It's never failed before. It's the best trading strategy known to man. Now, it's important to know there are a couple secrets to the emoji trading strategy. Secret number one, you really need... it's the size of the emoji really helps. Okay, so let's go down to like the the 1 tick chart. Okay. Oh, sorry, I can't go to the one tick chart. Can we go to like the 100 tick chart? Oh, I can't even go to the tick chart. All right. Let's go down to like the 10-second chart. Okay, now watch. I just want you guys to watch this like really carefully. All right, now watch. Now I am going to expand the size of the magnet. Okay. And you'll see, look, you see that like price immediately responds by moving up. So the size of the magnet is important. Okay. That is an important aspect of this style of trading. And let's go back to the 5 minute. And then in addition to that, we are going to be placing this rocket here. Okay. We're going to be placing this rocket here. And we need, actually, this is the wrong rocket. I feel that XRP's price is probably disrespected by this style of rocket. What we actually need instead is, yeah, just the icon is what we actually need. Yes, right? Because XRP doesn't want to be seeing all those like gay blue colors, right? XRP wants to be seeing a strong rocket ship that is actually green, is the color of the direction that I need price to go to make money. So these two techniques combined, very helpful. All right, almost foolproof, right? So yes, listen, I mean, crypto bull, listen, it's not that size doesn't matter, but it's not unimportant. All right, it's a key delineating factor, and it's so simple, right? Like you guys watch MMA, all right? You guys are familiar with MMA. If you see a big dude get into the ring with a small dude, obviously this is why we do weight classes, but it's not for certain that the big dude's gonna beat the little dude. But you know, it's not a bad bet. It's not a silly bet that the bad dude is that the big dude's gonna beat the little dude. Skill obviously is very important. Skill is very important. But it's very hard for a 120-pound very skilled fighter to beat a 250-pound you know, skilled fighter. So the one, you know what, man, I think that if somebody came in and saw this trading strategy, they would probably just instantly subscribe. They'd be like, oh my god, it makes so much sense. I can't believe I didn't think of using the emoji strategy before. All right. Now, of course, we've got some problems, you know, not problems. We're not even talking about problems, right? We're in the 5-minute resistance band. We're coming up on the 10-minute resistance band. We're coming at that 30-minute 200 SMA. I like the deviation, the dippity dip dip. We should be seeing I would like to be seeing some vigor going into the rate cut announcement right now. Why are people promoting Swift coin? I don't know. Let's ask What's up? What's going on? Yes to crypto. Thank you for promoting me on Farcast, man. I really appreciate that. All right, Swift coin. Number 755 in market capitalization. Well, you know, like, to be fair, it did pump a lot. So probably a lot of people made money. It's at a $66 million market capitalization. Almost $4 million in trading volume. So it's pretty popular shitcoin, man. Market cap. Yeah, I mean, it's all-time high on market capitalization. It reached $100 million market cap, which is a pretty important milestone. So reaching $100 million market capitalization, usually we see like a 50% pullback to like a 50 million market capitalization, and then see if it can make a run for like 100 million. But you know, you're also going to see lots and lots of people. You have to understand, especially with shitcoins, you see coordinated marketing attempts when prices are at all-time highs for two reasons. One, because the early investors in the coin need fresh liquidity to sell their bags to. But that's always the case. It's not always a negative thing. See, so many people will just hear that part of the sentence, a part of the markets, and they'll be like, well, anytime you see a coin being promoted and its price is pumped, like, it's just exit liquidity and it's a bad investment. No, that's not always true, especially in momentum driven markets. You can buy high and sell higher. The asset has the chance to continue to rally, go up to 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, 500 million, whatever. Because, you know, just as you have new investors, just as you have old investors trying to get out, you have new investors trying to come in. So it's not always the case. It's always the case. It's always the case, period, that old investors are attempting to distribute onto the heads of new investors. That's just literally the way the markets work, period. Doesn't matter if price has gone up 1% or 1,000%. The only thing that changes are like the incentives. All right, little pullback, consolidation. Let's go for round two. You are correct, Alex. All right, let's go pump number two. Every buyer is exit. Yeah, because for yes, you're absolutely right. For every buy, yeah, for every single buy, there is a corresponding sell order. So the only thing that's like different is like, are the buy orders market orders or are they sell orders? Because then we can use that as a proxy for aggression and sentiment. Any hoosers, XRP. All right, we've bet our current day stakes on it, and we're going to be testing obviously the emoji strategy here and seeing how well that works out. Let's go to Doge. Okay. Dogecoin. Now, obviously, I did de-risk on Dogecoin here. What, like just on Monday, I do believe, around 39.85. We're now at 38.69 approximately. I really like Dogecoin. It's still one of my biggest spot holdings. We do have that bearish moving into neutral 5-minute, a bearish 10-minute, a bearish 30-minute, a bearish 4-hour. All right. We can see on the daily time frame that we have pulled back and we are grinding the very top of the 30 daily exponential moving average, the very top of the Guppy EMA bands, the slow bands. Of course, the fast Guppy band is kind of downtrending. We have lost the 10 daily exponential moving average. So overall, we don't have momentum. This is no longer a momentum trade. Price making a bit of a push here on the 5-minute time frame, which is nice to see. So on the short term, trying to make a push up. Pretty big volume on Doge. Why did we not long Doge? This is a clear push for the magnet strategy. What's going on? Oh my God. I do like, you know, this tight 4-hour consolidation. We can see 4-hour volatility dropping. Now, typically 4-hour volatility drops and this broke to the downside. Do we typically want to trade Doge in the direction of the downside? So I'm hands off on Doge right now as far as futures positions. I'm just going to continue to hold my spot because I think Doge is most likely, almost certainly going to hit $1 this cycle. I think, I'm going to be honest, I was pretty enthusiastic. I was kind of shit posting even my own community, and I was like, Doge is going to hit $5. That's like $759 billion market capitalization if there's no burn, which Doge is not infamous for its burn cycles. So I might have been a little like too enthusiastic on that, but certainly like Doge to $1. We can 2x from here. Not a problem. Relax. $180 billion market capitalization. That's small potatoes for Doge. So yeah, nice breakouts here on Doge. Please tell me that XRP is following along. You'll get there. Come on, you can't resist the magnet. You cannot resist the magnet. Let's just a tiny bit, just a sliver there. Just a sliver there. Okay, just a sliver on the magnet. So I think, yeah, overall, I think we are going to see a little bit of optimism here moving into hopefully the next hour for the Fed announcement. And then hopefully we don't just have our hopes and dreams dashed after that. Because I would like to, again, we've had pretty much 4-hour pullbacks or daily pullbacks on most of these altcoins to significant buy zones. So again, you know, the biggest risk for altcoins is just, of course, Bitcoin continuing to soldier on mightily to the $120,000, $125,000 level, our Christmas target, and kind of sucking the liquidity out of altcoin markets. But again, depending on your perspective or depending on what time frame you're trading, that could actually be a really good thing because prices will give you a better entry opportunity. So once Bitcoin reaches that higher level of 120 and starts to consolidate, altcoins are going to play catch-up trade. So, and they're going to pump very, very hard. So key things for Doge. Doge is consolidating at underneath the VWAP today, slightly at the upper boundaries of the value area low, and is breaking up to the upside. So and again, I like where we're at on the daily. I like where we're at on the 4-hour. Like I said this last week. Overall, we still have not had the altcoin lows that we put in during the December 10th dippity dip tested. And so it would be very, very good if these hold, and this is just a pullback and price continues to the upside. So overall, pretty good. Doge is looking pretty strong now intraday. We had that tight consolidation. I do expect that we make a push for that 10-minute or maybe even that 30-minute 200 SMA, but definitely probably up into the upper value area. So probably 0.39, good short-term target intraday for Doge. Probably with invalidation on a breakout at this point at like 3.8. All right, so right here. So enter on the breakout or buy the pullback maybe to the point of control. So let's see what the market gives us. Other stuff, all right, of course, this is stuff I've shared with my community, things that I'm watching, things that I'm in. Ordinals, Wax P, Aptos, Pepe, Aave, Sui looking very, very strong right now, actually. So Sui pulled back to the 4-hour buy zone right here, now breaking up to the upside. Again, we do have a little bit of that even atom pattern here, right? Where we have that rounded top and then kind of a V top, okay? But again, pulled back, made a higher low, and so we could completely invalidate this resistance at about $4.80 on Sui. I think Sui is going to continue to perform, holding spot Sui, nothing really to talk about. Jito is pulling back. I am very, very bullish on Jito. We are at the 50 SMA, or excuse me, EMA on the daily time frame. So I'd really like to see Jito bottom here at support at about $3.20. That'd be very nice to see. Phantom, obviously also very strong, has pulled back basically to our support level as well. Got a long ways to go to be retesting the dippity dip dip. So I think we are entering into a very good buy spot on, what are we doing here? Buy spot on Phantom as well. Aave as well, very strong. One of my top picks now for this cycle. Again, kind of rounded top, but we're respecting that 4-hour buy zone very, very, very well. 200 SMA is creeping up. You know, again, maybe a little bit more hands off right now, but just holding spot. Nothing really to talk about here right now. All right. Yeah, Pepe is I don't know. I think Pepe is amazing. I think Pepe's going to keep really good. 4-hour time zone, 4-hour time frame, just pulled back to that 4-hour 200 SMA. Slightly overbought RSI. Volatility dropped really low. I think we had this volatility expansion into overbought RSI on the 4-hour time frame. This is yet another higher low in the big picture. Although a lower low from this dippity dip dip. So again, I think we negative scenario, we bounce from here to about 2304 and then potentially move down to consolidate, or we do the rectangular box pattern consolidation underneath the 4-hour 200 SMA and then we push up from there. But either way, or like worst case scenario, like is that we do just see like broader altcoin pullbacks over the next like 2 to 3 weeks, you know, moving into the first quarter of 2025, and then Bitcoin hits whatever level it's going to hit, and then we have that sideways consolidation or even a pullback, and then altcoins make another run for it. But alt season's not over. Sundog, just chilling, my TRX meme pick. Ohm, very bullish on Ohm. Link, very bullish. Ondo, very bullish. Looking at some of my medium term holds here. I've sold already 50% of these. And I'm glad that I did. I kind of did call, I didn't call, but like I did basically sell the top on all these, at least for 50% of my holdings. And I'm holding these for higher prices in 2025. But this is going to be things like Avalanche, Polkadot, Cosmos, Stacks, and AMP, which just for whatever reason, I'm still basically holding. They're my biggest bags from 2020, 2021. And life's good. Yeah. They're all, you know, still pulling back. So nothing to get too crazy about. And then kind of looking at our shit coins, Brett's obviously pulled back quite a bit. Incentives pulled back to that daily buy zone and is bouncing. Wrapped Bitcoin has pulled back to that daily buy zone and bouncing. Parcel had a big move, breaking above that 50-cent level of resistance again, reaching all the way to 70 cents. Let's hope that wasn't a short-term top, but still has daily momentum. Probably going to pull back here to about 40 cents before it makes another run on 50 cents. Virtuals, I did go ahead and sell the last half of my virtuals, so I was out. Made a great profit on virtuals, so good trade. Department of Government Efficiency unfortunately continues to dip. We are now at $120 million market cap, $121 million market capitalization. So again, meme coin. Maybe we go the way of Sundog here. Maybe we consolidate a little bit, but whatever. It's a meme coin hold, and I'm holding it out of love for Elon and Vivek. Need you guys to pull it through for me and save my country. Let's go to what's popping this week. Other assets that I'm watching this week. Things like Rose. Obviously, still things like Bohm. ADA, I think, is a good buy zone right now. Just pull back to the 4-hour 200 SMA, same as Pepe. IOST is deviated below the 4-hour 200 SMA, so I'm basically hands off on that right now. HBAR is looking really good after pulling back. Here's that nice rounded bottom, right? So here is that Adam and Eve pattern playing out. V-shape. Rounded bottom, looking really good. You could wait for breakouts here of about basically where we're at, like 30, you could wait for a strong close, a 4-hour close above 31 cents, and then I would probably be taking HBAR back up to 38 cents. Ohm looks really good. That 4-hour 200 SMA is creeping up, acting as support. I think Ohm is probably about to pop and make another high. Algo is pulling down to that 4-hour 200 SMA, so entering the buy zone. Overall looking pretty darn good. Yeah, HBAR looks really strong here. Ohm looks really strong here. Cardano looks like a good buy here. Pepe looks like a good buy here. Still holding Bohm as another one of my meme coins along with Goat, although Goat is really pooping the bed here. Looking at kind of our shit caps, Nero's pulled back to a very significant level of support. I still think Nero's going to do well. Popcat fortunately has just continued to sell off, but I am continuing to hold my not insignificant position. BP is probably pulling back into a good buy zone right here. All right. BP has been basically this account building trade. Anytime it gets down here, you buy. Still has room to go and very low cap over on Solana. So we still have another like maybe 18 to 20% to the downside. But you could probably start scaling in here and then looking to sell back up here, which they've always been about 100% pops. We already talked about ordinals and wax P. Zig still downtrending beneath the 200 SMA, kind of long holding that. Jesus coin, shout outs to my Jesus lovers out there. We are making higher lows, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I added. Yeah, so Jesus coin looking good. We might be experiencing the bottom because we are now starting to see, if we kind of zoom out, overall kind of like rectangular consolidation with higher lows creeping in. Maybe we get a little bit of a triangle pattern here going on, and then ideally a break to the upside back above that 200 SMA, and Jesus makes a run for Galilee again. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Thoughts on Litecoin? Not right off the top of my head, but we'll talk about it. Let's look at Litecoin. Let's look at Litecoin Bitcoin for proxy. Stick with Drigo of. Amen, Alex, to that. The reason for the season, indeed. I'm really excited about Advent Church on the 24th. And just, hey, listen, little, PSA, guys. Whether or not, obviously, we don't tell you guys what to believe here on the stream. We just tell you, I try to teach you guys how to think critically and think for yourselves. But I can only speak from personal experience, and accepting, integrating myself in a very firm way into my community, doing more for my community, volunteering in my community, giving charity in my community, has really improved my mental well-being, my quality of life, as well as it's just everything is really good about it. So this Christmas season, guys, if you haven't done anything directly for your community, if you're sitting on some good altcoin profits, if you're sitting on some good crypto profits, of course, we want to be greedy. We want to max things out, especially if you're comparing yourself to the Joneses. Oh, you haven't made that 1 million yet. Oh, you haven't made that 10 million yet. But if you've made, a couple $1,000s, made 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000, it is good. It is good for your soul. It is good for your community. It is good for your life. We cannot rely on the government to do everything for the people who are less fortunate around us. That goes just in stark contrast to everything that America was founded on, that I think is goodness. We do need to depend on our own people, right? We need to depend on our own mankind. If you go over and look at North Carolina, anybody over there who thinks the government's going to step in and save those people are absolutely ridiculous. They are not going to. It's going to have to be the local communities and people who actually want to go in and help those people out, either directly with their own efforts, the sweat of their back, or monetarily. So highly encourage you guys to do something of charity work, something charitable this Christmas season, whether it is donating to your local food bank, volunteering your time at a soup kitchen. What we're going to do, so we actually did 2 of those things. We did donate to our local food bank. We called them up and asked them exactly what items they needed. We went and bought about $500 worth of that stuff and donated it to the food bank. And then my daughter and I, we are actually every single night writing about 8 per night Christmas cards for the senior citizens at our local retirement home. There's about 43 senior citizens, and we are going to be delivering those. We were going to deliver them on Christmas Eve, but we have to go to church for Advent at 3:30, and that's when they said that's kind of a good time to come, because it's like after they've woken up from their after lunch nap, and as they're like waking up in anticipation of dinner, like 3:30 is a good time. But church is at 3:30, so we got to go on. We're going to actually do it the day before Christmas Eve, the 23rd, which would be Monday. So we'll do that. Encourage that for you guys. You know, regardless of how you feel about any of that stuff, it is going to make you feel better, and at least you'll be able to walk around knowing that you did something, that you are a good person in your community, and you're not just this selfish like crypto trader only caring about themselves. And in my experience, the more you give, the more you receive. So think about that. All right. Love the alpha rails. If you want to get wealthier, man, give more money away. Litecoin obviously had a nice rally and valuated against BTC, of course, from approximately November 18th. So basically, you know, just all altcoins. This looks quite the same. You know, riding the very optimistic Trump enthusiasm following the election of Donald Trump, and, you know, pushing up until we've kind of reached this consolidation. In USD terms, all right, Litecoin does have a daily bullish uptrend. We are consolidating and grinding at a slightly lower high after making a new medium-term high at $140. Usually making a new medium-term high means that we will continue on with price. We had a nice 3 drives pattern to the upside. So we can see that here from kind of the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So far on the pullback, we've had 1. Maybe we see 2, and unfortunately, like, worst case scenarios for altcoins is that we do a 3 drives pattern to the downside. Everything kind of broadly pulls back to 76. That would really suck, and that would make me that would make me kind of shift my bias for 2025 and be like, oh my god. But we're not there yet, man. We're not there yet. So overall, Litecoin is grinding out right there. I would be looking optimistically for buying opportunities. If we get a second pullback around $112 to $110, that would allow us to maintain that daily uptrend. That would be a pullback to the 50 EMA, which is kind of what we value for. Litecoin is not appreciating against Bitcoin right now. And again, if Bitcoin is going to continue to charge up and make that move to our Christmas price target of $120,000 to $125,000, it is likely to continue seeing what we're seeing right now, which is liquidity pull from the altcoin markets. As other traders do exactly what I have done and rotate most heavily into BTC. I'm like 80% into BTC right now. I'm like 20% in altcoins. So that'll change once BTC reaches like $120,000, $125,000. I'll take all that BTC allocation and I'll start to roll that back in and really beef up my altcoin positions, because that is it's just my strategy at the current point in time. Other than that, let's talk about, you know, I don't think that Litecoin is going to overperform. I'm unfortunately a bit of a Litecoin bear now. I don't see the purpose for Litecoin anymore. You know, back in like 2017, 2018, I fell into the trap of thinking that, well, of course, Litecoin's going to, you know, do well and be valuable because it's the silver to Bitcoin's gold. No, Bitcoin doesn't need a freaking silver. Ethereum is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. You know, you can now use all the layer 2s to transact just as cheaply. You know, like, again, Litecoin, the narrative used to be like, well, it's like cheaper transaction fees and faster and like almost instant settlement. And like, okay, well, yeah, but now we have Polygon. And Base and Solana, and, you know, so I just don't really see the value that Litecoin brings to the table. Of course, Charlie Lee, you know, famously basically sold all his LTC. I don't think he's rotated back into LTC. Yeah, I just don't really see anything coming from LTC. So if again, the joke is if we start to see things like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin start reaching all-time highs, that is the clear signal that the market is too hot. Sell everything if Litecoin goes above $300. Yeah, Charlie rug pull. So just based on the fundamentals, like, I'm not recommending allocations long-term in the Litecoin anymore. Of course, it's a tradable asset, but again, as we can see from the chart, it is very much underperforming. I would not really be interested in Litecoin this cycle. Again, when you can focus on things like XRP, HBAR, Algorand, Cardano, Ethereum, you know, and those are pretty safe, good high caps that are going to have less volatile, like less 80% pullbacks. Like if you're trying to speculate and get 5x, 10x's on, you know, sub $100 million shitcoins. I'd like Cryptonomics. Can you expand on that a little bit? I'm not claiming, like, there's a very clear difference between rug pulling and well, like okay, so let's talk about this, right? So Vitalik, okay, is infamously like one of the best quote unquote like Ethereum traders. Not in the sense that he's a very active trader, but he has very frequently like sold the top on Ethereum and reallocated in at the lows. And he's just done this for years. And nobody, you know, claims that, you know, Vitalik has rug pulled. So, you know, I think that unfortunately with things like cryptocurrencies, we just have to face, you know, an unfortunate reality. And that is the fact that in the cryptocurrency community space, if the developer sells all of his tokens, I think we could argue that. I think most people would call that rug pulling. But I think that in the case of Charlie Lee or like things like, you know, really large projects that have been around for a long time, I don't really think there's any, I don't equate a developer like Charlie Lee selling his coins after like, you know, 5 years, right? I don't consider that rug pulling. You know, that's just seeing the writing on the walls and, you know, wanting to move on to new things and, you know, being cashed out for your performance. You made a lot of people a lot of money. Profit Bear with the $77, man. Oh, I don't even know what to say anymore, dude. That's so generous, man. Thank you so much, brother. Speaking of giving, it's the season to share the Holy Spirit, sending love from Jesus family. I love investing into people through YouTube. Thank you for being the most realistic and honest YouTuber out here in the crypto space. Jesus is the reason for the season, man. God bless you, man. I really appreciate that. I highly appreciate you, man. I love having you on here every day, Prophet Bear. You are a fantastic person, and I'm glad that you are doing what you need to do, and I'm glad that you have a lot of kids because we need more people like you. But thank you so much for your generosity, man. I really appreciate that. Round of applause for Prophet Bear, man. I cannot. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you, Prophet Bear. Love you, man. Okay. Yeah, so I don't equate Charlie Lee selling his Litecoin. I don't call that rug pulling, even though I get it. Like, it's semantics. Like, if the developer abandons the project, like, probably, you know, like, obviously, like, you know, pull the, but again, a rug pull, you know, I think realistically, the way I view rug pull, that's like early on, the dev, you know, launches the project, it makes money, he's out immediately. That, like, that's a rug pull. And also, a rug pull has a more literal connotation, which is like the rug pull, you know, pulls all the liquidity out. And like, not only, you're not just holding an asset where the dev is sold. No, like the dev pulled all the liquidity and you can't sell. You're fucked. It was a scam. So yeah, so I think a literal rug pull is a scam where somebody launches a token and pulls all the liquidity and you literally can't sell it because there's no liquidity on the buy side anymore. A semantic rug pull is when a developer launches a project and it pumps and the developer sells all his tokens. I don't think that's a rug pull. I think that's just the dev, you know, like not having faith long-term in the project, not having any desire but to make a quick cash grab. But I wouldn't necessarily call it a rug pull, but semantically we call it a rug pull. And then, you know, a developer who puts his time, sweat, and tears into a crypto project for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and then sells. Again, I don't call that a rug pull. I just call that the market. You know, like Litecoin didn't win. Litecoin isn't going to win. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. Or excuse me, I understand the people saying that Charlie Lee rug pulled semantically, as long as we just understand that that is not a literal rug pull, because a literal rug pull is a scam. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, anytime a developer basically sells all their tokens, it's kind of the end of the project. But not always the case. There are a few. There are quite a few examples. Not a lot, but like quite a few, like more than 10, of developers selling all their tokens, and then, you know, we have community takeover projects. Like Department of Government Efficiency is a community takeover project. There's lots of good CTOs, which is community takeovers, which is where like the developer rug pulls or gets out, but then the community likes the project so much, or the meme or the narrative, that they come in, bootstrap the liquidity, build the project back up, relaunch the website, all of these things. And I like, you know, CTO coins tend to do pretty well. Yeah, in 2025, he'll change his name to Profitable. Thank you, Rick G. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you guys being here. So Cryptonomics says, yeah, I don't think Litecoin was rug pulled, but Coinbase didn't list the coin until after price ran up. Then it was listed. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Pre-mine tokens are another way to rug pull. That's the old school way. Yeah. Dash, well, yeah, Dash is trash. Dash is, I mean, as the rumor mill goes, that's mostly for money laundering to South America, or from South America, so to speak. Guys, we might have to enlarge the magnet. All right. Let's move the magnet forward in time, because obviously we don't want it to pump back here. We want it to pump in the future. Maybe that was the secret. All right, now let's just move the rocket ship up. Okay. Obviously, as we can see, the rocket ship is acting as support. Okay. Whoa. That's too much. Starman Jack. Oh, I haven't seen you in forever, man. That was one of my favorite Aussies doing, man. Good to see you in here, brother. I hope everything is well with you. Rick G, a lot of respect. Obviously, we're just playing around, but I do respect statements like that when people say things like that. Because to be a strong, trustworthy, great person, you just have to be, you know, and like good in society. Somebody that would be like, hey, this is my dude. Like, I trust him. He'll speak for me. He's smart. The people that I look for are the people who can just very quickly, like, psychologically be like, you know what I mean? I either made a mistake, my bad, or hey, maybe I said that wrong. Because I don't know. That's just, I really respect things like that, because I try to do that myself. You know, I've said, I speak a lot. I speak publicly for almost 2 hours every weekday. And then a lot, obviously, in my private life. So I've said a lot of things that weren't necessarily correct, or that I've had to walk back. But it's a desire for accuracy, which is really important. Jordan, what's going on? Starman killing it. I am so glad to hear that, dude. I am really, really glad to hear that. All right, we all out of coffee? All right, we're out of coffee. It's time to switch to water. Get the tunes back on. We're about an hour 30 into the show. Starman Jack! I am so glad to hear that, dude. I'm putting that on the website. I am glad to hear that, man. I poured my life into PTP, and I'm really glad. I mean, that makes me really happy, man. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Thank you. And this is a great time. It's a great time to be in the market too. Don't forget to drink a gallon of water a day, guys. You don't probably need to drink a gallon of water if you don't have a fitness program, if you're not doing a strength training schedule. But if you're doing, you know, HIIT or strength training, you guys need to be getting that gallon of water in a day. I'm telling you, I'm like, you think I'm joking? If you lift weights, if you're lifting weights, or you're doing any kind of fitness training, and you're like, obviously there's lots of factors, but one factor, if you're getting in that half gallon to a gallon of water a day, you are actually going to see better results. I get so much better results. And I think the key thing is that it's not as like, oh, like it makes your muscles grow faster. It's that it makes your sleep better. It makes the recovery phase of your sleep much more vitalistic, much more effective, because of the water that you need in your body. And yeah, you don't grow when you push weight. You grow when you sleep. All right, when your muscle tissue pushes back together. Cryptonomics says, thank you for reminding me about coin tracking. I used it before, then stopped, but I'm back with them now. They made a lot of, yeah, coin tracking is good, man. Coin tracking, Coinly, good stuff. I have to sit down. It usually takes me about a week. I sit down in January and I just kind of go over all my trades, make sure everything's measured up. I have always been an advocate for paying taxes. I actually believe I typically overpay my taxes because I'm kind of like, you know, I just want to have, I've been pretty fortunate. I've been pretty successful. I have no need for the IRS to come after me. And, you know, if they audit me, I want to be like, yeah, go ahead, audit me. And then tell me how much I've overpaid you and give me a check. Rick G, I'm really glad, man. You've been around for a long time, and I'm always happy to see you on the stream, brother. M3TZ says I drink a gallon of beer a day. Listen, guys. I'm an advocate for clean living, healthy living. I don't. The only thing I really do nowadays is I do enjoy sipping whiskey. I'm quite a big fan of rye. I am a little bit of a whiskey snob, but I don't drink to intoxication. I don't use cannabis. I haven't used cannabis for quite a long time. I used to use it a lot. I don't use any other types of drugs. I don't think they're good for you. They all have their place, right? I'm pretty, you know, socially liberal on that. But yeah. I don't think they're good in general. I will drink a beer. I will not really buy beer to drink in my house almost ever. But you know, I'll drink a beer. You know what I mean? I like craft beer, you know, and I like kind of the brewery scene because, you know, breweries are kind of nice. You meet people. It's not like a bar. You know, take your kids and it's family friendly, and I can take my dogs and everything's fine. And kids have a lot of fun. So breweries are cool, and we did go to them, you know, a few times in Colorado. Back in Iowa, there's not really that strong brewery scene, particularly where I live. So I'm much less on beer now, but I'll drink a beer with the guys, especially at a game. No, I do enjoy sipping a good whiskey. Right now, I am very much on Iowa Legendary, which is quote unquote the actual authentic bootlegger recipe from John Templeton back in 1913 or 1931, excuse me. Versus, yeah, see, just XRP, you know, it cannot resist the power of the magnet. All right. And you'll notice that ever since I expanded the magnet, now we're getting some slightly stronger price performance. So it's just, it's unstoppable, guys. It's just unstoppable. Guts are 99% beer. But if I had to give some whiskey recommendations off the top of my head, Elijah Craig small batch rye whiskey, fantastic. The Iowa Legendary Rye Black Label, really good. Red Label if you want a little bit smoother, but the Black Label's good. And then Templeton's quite good as well. Macallan's nice. Yeah, cigar is like, so cigars are the next level of my, I guess, elitism, right? I have been enjoying a few more cigars over the last year. I'm not to the point yet where I feel I deserve to get my own humidor. There's a lot I don't know about cigars, but that's kind of like my next, you know, like guy knowledge area of expansion that I'd like to get into is knowing a little bit more about cigars, you know, kind of knowing what's good, what's bad. Right now, I don't really know too much about cigars, to be quite honest with you. Macallan, Uncle Nearest, 1856, 18 and 25 Matt. Oh, you guys are absolute killers, man. Andrew Munns, you can afford anything. Rich bastard. Crushing it at the markets. All right. I think we've pretty much gone over everything super important right now. Let's take a quick look at our liquidation levels and price out. We've got multiple models now. That's kind of cool. Tell me more, tell me more. Wow, hold on. Let's just refresh this because I scrolled my mouse wheel a little bit and I did not like that. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. Wow. Oh, look, that's so pretty. I don't know which one to go with. I mean, this one seems better to me. Just double check that against Model 1, which is the one obviously we've been using for forever. I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. Let's go back to Model 1. That seemed a little bit... Oof. It's tough. So what is cool about this is, so if we compare, what's interesting is, so I want you guys, this is Model 2, and you'll notice that the yellow, which is higher liquidation leverage, right? You'll see that it's more distributed throughout the liquidation levels here on Model 2. Whereas if we look at, we can see that the buy side liquidation leverage is highly concentrated at about the $103,000 price point, highly concentrated there. So 103,000, a lot of long liquidations there. If we go to Model 1, what I noticed is that it almost seems like the opposite, as if the liquidation leverage is more dispersed. You can see it more distributed from 103 up to about 102,700, down to 102,750. Whereas up here on the high side, we can see with this model, the liquidation leverage seems highly concentrated at 106,355, and less dispersed throughout the area. So very interesting. Obviously, these are all models. They're just predictions. But they're pretty gosh darn good. So again, we do have that Fed decision coming up in about 37 minutes. So anything is possible, usually high volatility, non-directional volatility. And I do, obviously I want to be aware of that. So what we have now is we do have, as I said, we got the old Choden balls playing out. We do have that break of the point of control, kind of the break of the neckline. All right. So what I want to see now is I do want to see price hold the point of control right now on this pullback. And if it doesn't do that, then I will probably close my trade. And now that we've had this play out, I'm probably just going to go ahead and move my stop up to 247.12. That's not about right. Which, 2.4712. Confirm. Yeah. So stop is now in profit. Obviously, if the stop loss triggers now, it will not be a lot of profit. But yeah, I didn't enter this trade to hold it to the downside. This is not a long swing. So that was good to see. Profit Bear, I can't get over that $77, man. That was so generous. Thank you so much, man. All right. Let's go over, we can talk about the latest Glassnode report here a little bit. Resilience and synchronicity. Bitcoin continues trading above the psychologically important 100,000 price level, supported by a consistent inflow of capital. Long-term holders are capitalizing on this liquidity, taking the opportunity to distribute supply at scale, setting a new all-time high in profit realized of $2.1 billion. So we'll just go over the executive summary. Let's see here. A striking degree of similarity in the Bitcoin price trajectory can be observed across prior cycles despite vastly differing market scales, investor comp, and market structure dynamics. Long-term holders are taking the opportunity to distribute supply into fresh demand. A notable portion of these profit-taking volumes are originating from coins aged 6 months to 12 months, with coins older than this remaining relatively dormant in comparison. The percentage of network wealth held by new investors has surged higher, highlighting a robust demand profile, but also reflects a transition in the balance of wealth away from long-term holders. All right. So our price performance has actually now exceeded the 2015 to 2018 cycle at plus 638% since the cycle low, compared to 501%. So law of diminishing returns in my butt. Well, we also kind of already covered this. This is the least pullbacky cycle that we've ever had. Okay. We can see right now currently that short-term holder supply is actually in profit, about 1 standard deviation above profit. Here is the long to short-term holder supply ratio percent change. We can see a lot of that. We can see this big spike down. So immense long-term holder sell side pressure as price maintains above 100,000. And we can see this is our entity adjusted long-term holder realized profit, reaching a new all-time high of $2.1 billion. Good to see you, M3TZ. I'll send you a 12 if you want one. Hit me up on Facebook, man. I will not say no to whiskey, brother. Absolutely. All right. So we can see the proportion of wealth held within recently moved supply is starting to increase meaningfully in recent months. This occurs as coins held by long-term holders are distributed to new investors, which in turn highlights a surge in new demand side activity. So we are seeing a big distribution or a big redistribution of wealth from longer term held coins, 6 months to 12 months, to new investors. But we are continuing to see older coins remain relatively dormant. Okay, but we haven't yet reached, looking at the hodl waves, we have not yet reached and seen peaks that we currently saw during previous market tops. So again, a lot of room to run. Okay. We can see that the majority of the sell side volume is comprised of coins that are aged 6 months to 12 months. So those who essentially accumulated their coins here in 2024. So what, again, I want to be very, very clear. What this is all telling you is that the majority of sell side pressure that we're seeing with Bitcoin above $100,000, which is immense, it is speculator profit. It's those who have entered into the market in 2024. All right. Who bought. So this is a lot of speculation. This is not our classic long-term holders. They are not selling yet. They are holding out for higher prices. And so when we compare that with, again, that key factoid right there, the lack of peaks in a lot of our key on-chain metrics, probably one of the most important being the AVIV that I shared with you earlier. All right. So let's just read this. We now turn our attention to the AVIV ratio, which helps us assess the average unrealized profit held by investors that are active within the market. We can utilize this metric to gauge whether the market is currently over or underheated relative to the profitability of its participants. Typically, bull markets reach their conclusion when all denominations of investors are in substantial profits, leading to enormous supply side pressure coupled with an acute lack of new investors willing to buy at the current price. At the moment, the AVIV ratio has not yet reached its extreme band of +3 standard deviations, suggesting there may be room for the market to run before the profit held by the average investor becomes too tempting. Right, so here's the AVIV ratio. We can see where it's peaked in all previous market cycles, right? Has averaged out to about 3 standard deviations. We're nowhere near that. So a lot of room left to run, and the old term holders are not selling. Jordan says, once this wealth transfer to boomers and Gen XY, there will be a massive folks putting their inheritance into crypto. I agree. What do I think will happen after the FOMC today? Again, about 24 hours of non-directional volatility, and then we probably start pumping on Bitcoin. Go back to XRP. The magnet strategy is just unbeatable. Yep. Oh, yep. It heard me talking. You saw XRP heard me talking. That's why I made that pop right there. Definitely heard me. All right, let's check back in on Bitcoin. Like I said, it's possible, about 50% probability right now. My Christmas target for Bitcoin is, of course, $120,000 to $125,000. So over the next 2 to 4 weeks. It doesn't necessarily have to happen by Christmas, although that would be a great Christmas present to myself and my family. But certainly probably by the first week or two of January, we hit that 120, 125. And then we level off, and then altcoins pump back again. It does seem to be a little bit more likely that we do continue to see altcoins, with some exceptions, because some altcoins will pump with Bitcoin. And again, the altcoins that are showing strength right now are the ones more likely to do that. So for example, talking about our SUIs, our Aves, our Ohms, our Links, our Ondos, right? All those are likely gearing up for pumps right now. Other things though, like Ordinals or WaxP, maybe even Aptos, Pepe's probably going to pump, Phantom's probably going to pump, because those are all our strong coins. But maybe, you know, our things like Sundog, our things like Nero, our things like Avalanche, Polkadot, our things like Amp, Stacks, Atom. Maybe those continue to pull back over the next 2 to 4 weeks, and then we have to wait until Bitcoin reaches that 120, 125, and then that liquidity can rotate back into altcoins. So unfortunately, right now, just kind of tracking that on in big picture wise, we can use others divided by the price of Bitcoin. So this is basically altcoin market capitalization measured against the price performance of Bitcoin. And unfortunately, we've been trading in a descending channel, reached resistance, and now we're pulling back. So it'd be great to see, you know, like a pullback breakout retest of this level of resistance at like 355, and then altcoins make a push for it, which I think they will. But right now, and that means potentially what we're seeing right now, I could be wrong though. We could just start seeing altcoins begin pumping pretty soon, because this is Bitcoin stables dominance, which was obviously trending up since September 2022, where we haven't really seen altcoins whatsoever outperform BTC. But now we have broken down out of that descending channel, formed a higher low, and now we're having a bit of a dead cat bounce. So if we can get rejection from the 200 SMA, and this metric starts going down, then we're going to see altcoins start moving back up again. But whether it starts now or whether it happens in 2 to 4 weeks, it doesn't really matter. I guess the only place where it does matter is your positioning. So that is important. You can be right and still lose money. But we were about 26 minutes away from the FOMC decision. Let's go and try and get that pulled open, so we can watch that. Man, I am like all the way down here. I'm not even on here. Don't even show up in the search results. Oh, probably because I didn't say like rate cut. If I got like crypto. All right, let's see. Maybe I have to put like crypto in the title of the video. Yeah, I don't even see me. This is disgusting. Huh. Wish I knew more about YouTube. I don't really know how to game the system. But anyways, one moment. There we go. Oh, 2:30. It's gonna happen at 1. Oh man, I can't. I don't know if I can stream until 1:30. We're already at an hour and 45 minutes, so I don't actually think we can watch it live, unfortunately, because I need to eat lunch and then we have mentoring at 2, and so if I don't break off here in about 15 minutes, I'm not gonna have time to eat lunch, take the dogs out. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we will not be watching the FOMC live. Will I be utilizing RLUSD for a trading pair eventually? Probably not. Not off the top of my head. So I want to go look at its market cap. It's not on my, I don't call signals for RL. I call signals typically for the top 50, and occasionally shitcoins like Sundog. You can just kind of see here, and essentially like what I typically call. What am I doing here? Here we go. Yeah, I don't even know what RL is off the top of my head. I'm not seeing it coming up on CoinDeco. Oh, RL, yeah, Ripple, yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry, dude, brain fart, Ripple USD, duh. Oh, Jesus, I know what you're talking about now. I'm sorry, I misinterpreted your question. I brain farted there. Yeah, Ripple's USD pair. I don't know. I mean, like not really, and I don't really think there's a reason to do that. That's kind of not how I really operate. I mostly just recommend trading on centralized exchanges, and when I do call decentralized exchanges, I don't really advise people on what pair to go against. You know, if you're going to be doing DEX trading and you kind of don't know those basics of just how to go for the highest liquidity pool, then it doesn't really matter, because, you know, modern day wallets like Rabby and Phantom just abstract that all away from you anyways. You know, Uniswap's been doing that for a long time, where if you want to swap, you know, X token into X token, then it doesn't matter if there's no pool for that. It'll just, you know, bridge, you know, pool swap, and give you what you need. So all that's basically abstracted away. Yeah. So if I see a need to like dive knee deep into like the Ripple ecosystem, if the Ripple ecosystem on chain gets a little bit more robust, which right now it's not, maybe, but yeah, I don't really think so. The main thing, like, it doesn't, you know, trade against the highest liquidity, and so that's for now going to be USD, USDT, almost dominantly USDT, USDC in some situations. But again, that's all abstracted away, so. And then, you know, obviously looking at Bitcoin valuation is kind of good for the medium to long-term investor as well. Profit Bear, do I think it's good or bad that we cut rates? Again, I've kind of talked about this. My 2 cents is this. It is, of course, good in the short term that it's going to help, you know, struggling businesses. It's going to make capital cheaper. It's probably the right move, you know, with inflation, quote unquote, under 3% as per the key official metrics. But again, I've expressed my lack of trust in those metrics because they continually shift the goalposts on how they measure inflation. So in reality, prices are up significantly. I mean, the price of turkeys was up 17% just from last year for Thanksgiving. And meanwhile, the mainstream media was running one of their key leading articles the week running up to Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving's cheaper than ever, but you might not notice it. What do you mean I might not notice it? You mean from the numbers on the things that I'm buying and the receipts and the debit from my bank account? Yeah, it's kind of hard to see how things are getting cheaper than ever. It's just ridiculous, man. Such a disconnect from the real economy. They're talking about unemployment rates being low, but they don't want to talk about the labor force participation rate. They want to keep rejiggering it's just, yeah, it's just whatever, man. But my thoughts in general are always that, you know, the main economic things to know is that if we cut rates, that's generally going to be good in the short term for the economy and for the stock market. Or excuse me, it's good in the long run for the economy. It's usually good in the short term for the stock market, but it risks putting the stock market, the more rate cuts that happen, it does risk putting the stock market into an overheated speculative bubble, which means the pop, both for crypto, both for traditional assets, will be much harder and the bear market will last longer. So that's the risk. All right. But I think that we're unlikely to avoid that anyways. All right. And we'll just see. We'll just see. I mean, the next year is going to be extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. I am doing really well, Stick LB. I'm glad that you are here. I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day. All right, guys. So we're not going to be able to stay and watch the Fed watch because we don't have enough time. So let us now just, with our last 15 minutes, let's just go post. First, let's see anybody that I'm following. See if I need to unfollow people. What's going on here? Good for you, man. Oh, yeah, I know what they're talking about. Yeah. This bill that the Democrats are attempting to, you know, they're trying to threaten a government shutdown if they don't pass the bill. Shut the government down. I'm not going to cry. Ansel Linder is going to be going live here in 15 minutes. So that's actually when I'm going to be yeah, you guys go follow Ansel Linder. I've interviewed him before on the channel. He's one of the best macro Bitcoin analysts out there. Go hop on his live stream. I'm actually going to grab the I'm going to copy the link address. Oh no, I need the clean link. I'm probably actually, once I hop off, this is who I'm going to be listening to as I'm eating lunch. So yeah, go check out Ansel. Did I made that post, right? Did I not make that post? What happened? Huh. Okay, that's weird. Oh, replies. Okay, wait. Yeah, okay, good. I didn't want to like I don't want to like post twice. But yeah, go check out Ansel once I finish up my stream here in about 10-15 minutes. Justin, did I get into no, none of that stuff, dude. I'm not in on any of that stuff. That's not my edge. I have made zero money off NFTs. With the exception of the VNFT, I sold my Aerodrome VNFT and I made quite a bit of money off of that. So yeah, Elon Musk's just on a rant. Yeah, and I agree. Like, this bill should not be passed. It's ridiculous. A Bitcoiner's Guide to Austrian Economics. Heck yeah. I think I need to update like my following list. None of this stuff seems very good. Let's go back to my For You, which is usually pretty good. Pro tip, you work from home, she doesn't. Do not be home when she gets home from work. No matter how much more money you make, you will still give off the does nothing all day vibe. It's hardwired, and you'll be dealing with an unnecessarily sour woman. She won't even know why she's annoyed. Drive around, go to the gym, take a walk, but do not be there. Yeah, I can actually, I think that's really true. I've worked from home for a long time, for almost 6 years now, since 2018. And I think that's completely true. I have a serious question for people. What actual good at a scale that matters do you think a strategic Bitcoin reserve will do without the accumulating country hyperinflation? Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? This makes zero sense to my brain. Why can't a wealth fund, the concept is not dissimilar to a sovereign wealth fund, which are strategic investments made by a country for its future benefit. A SBR, while not is slightly different, as the goal is not growth or ROI, but stability and diversification of reserve assets. What does this have anything to do with hyperinflation in your mind? Make it make sense, please. Oh, you guys know what that is. You know, the lights out, S to crypto. I'm glad you followed along with me. Let's check in with that. Do we need to collect, like, is it time? Should we be booking profits? Probably not. We haven't had our invalidation. We just had a nice pullback now. Are we gonna have a lower high? Yeah, what is the relevance of USDT dominance when there are emerging USD stablecoins and many others that already exist? I mean, you're not incorrect. Like, you have a very good point. There is a little bit more diversification in the markets now. Of course, we do also have to just realize that USDT dominance is the most liquid. It's the DEFCON. It is. Yeah, it's my. So I got these Elgato Keylight Minis, but I dropped this one on the left, and it works really good. But the problem is this one right here. It's plugged in. I have them plugged into USB. So that means it never like dies. But the problem with this one on the left, ever since I dropped it, is that if I turn it on, it will drain the battery down. Like, it won't, like, for some reason, something's wrong with its ability to have pass-through power. So it'll just drain the battery down until it dies, and then it'll charge back up. And they're only good for about 2 hours at maximum strength. So it's kind of like my, hey, it's time to end the stream. Yeah, I'm just gonna hold trade. It's all right. We just went for a 1x ATR trade on 30-minute time frame, so it's just, take profits. Stop loss isn't profit, so like whatever. Relevance is USDT prints. It goes in the market. Yeah. But with regards, so that is absolutely true when we're looking at the market capitalization of USDT. But as far as dominance goes, I just think, you know, people have gotten into the habit, analysts get into the habit of looking at USDT dominance. I had my stables dominance, so I agree with you. I had my stables dominance chart, and that was working really well until it didn't. So now I am just looking, it's not perfect, but I'm proxying it. I am using USDT plus Bitcoin dominance, and that's for me the way that I track whether I should be entering into altcoins or not. Right now we're at a juncture point because we broke down from the descending or this ascending channel that we were trading in, and now we've bounced back, and I hope we reject from the 200 SMA. Rejection for the 200 SMA means a lower low. And so, yeah, I was looking at USDT dominant, USDT plus USDC plus DAI plus, well, stablecoin dominance. Here's my script. Yeah, I was looking at USDC, USDT, DAI, FDUSD, USDD, and Frax. All right. But for some reason, I just got to change it to version 6. Maybe I like that. Save and add to chart. Runtime error. I just don't understand why. It's got to be obviously like, as one of these like gone the way of the dinosaur. No, I'll figure out later. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just, you know, analysts, you know, in particular are always going to have like their favorite things that they like to look at and put stock in those. And so, yeah, when I look at that though, I think, well, yeah, USDT dominance is at 3.8 and you're saying, but you know, let's go back to that real quick. Like he might be not wrong. That dude's not a bad analyst. And by that, I mean, I want to be very clear. Here we go. So the Pizzino brothers, right? They have some nice, analysis, but I've been following them for a while and I don't think they make the best calls, you know what I'm saying, which they don't make that often, but you know, they have good analysis, but I don't know how good of traders they are. But again, smart guys, they say some cool stuff. But you know, you see this chart and it's like, oh, we're in a downtrend and we just made a lower high and now we're at support and you think we're going to bounce. Like, I don't know about that, right? And then he like highlights this part of the chart for some reason, where this part of the chart doesn't look anything similar. The difference here is that we had bottomed and like made a strong high and we're making higher highs, and then we pulled back to the same level of support. So in this case, USDT dominance was on the way up in an uptrend, and so obviously this is the like the end of the bull market of 2021 up until now, but now we're doing the exact opposite, right? So he should actually flip his chart. Look, if I had the power to flip this dude's chart, sorry, if I had the power to flip this dude's chart, you notice that once we hit the bottom and broke out, we made this level of support right here. And then when the market pulled back there and consolidated, yeah, of course we went up. But now it's happening in reverse. We hit the high, the market pulled back, we bounced to that level of resistance, right? So he should actually be anticipating this projected downwards. So I don't see the whole getting bullish on USDT dominance at support, not in a roaring bull market. And what does he mean? Like, the grind will scare away retail liquidity? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? The grind? Are you saying that higher prices are, I mean, I like the sideways grind? I don't think so, dude. I don't think that's going to scare away any retail. Retail are going to retail comes in at the worst times always. It doesn't matter what the chart looks like. So I don't know. No disrespect, but I don't agree with that take. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the stream or the video on demand. If you're a VOD watcher, shout out to you guys. It's been a great show. We've laughed, we've cried, we've played. To the Crypto Trading Academy members, we do have mentoring starting in about 1 hour. We're going to cover a lot of stuff, so definitely show up for that if you're going to be there. We're going to be covering the new PineScript strategy that I published. We're going to be talking about how to potentially automate that. We're going to be talking about ways to improve it. We're going to be going over our Mink strategy and all of our automated trades, as well as a review of all of our current open signals, all of the important stuff, and then kind of some fundamental stuff that I did not share on the stream today. Other than that, if you guys watched all the way to the end, if you want to support what we're doing here, our mission here is to educate you, the viewer, with all the strategies, tools, tips, and discipline, whatever, education that you need to be more dangerous and effective in the cryptocurrency markets. We have been doing this for 7 years here on YouTube. And we have been growing faster than ever recently. And not only is it because of my consistency, but it's because of viewers like you. So if you want to support our mission, if you want to support what we're doing, it doesn't cost you a dime. Please smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, turn on those notifications so that you never miss an episode. We do the show every weekday from approximately 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 11 to 1 on the Eastern Seaboard. Make sure to go sign up for our Christmas season trading competition going on live right now on BYDFi. Free to register, free to participate, $2,300 prize pool, lots of other good goodies as well. Use that second link in the description, get 17% off your trading fees, access to 200x leverage, a demo trading account, access to over 600 pairs, and no spot trading fees. Also, don't need a KYC, don't need a VPN. Life's good. Other than that, if you liked what you saw during the stream, if you want to trade directly with us, have access to our exclusive indicators, our automated strategies, including bottom feeder and minks, which have been printing, sign up for the Crypto Trading Academy, learn to trade like a professional. First link in the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Cheers now.